Hello, everyone. This is Bruce Johnson with the Epic Real Estate Revolution podcast, along with my partner here.
Yep, Mr. Logan Krutsch. How's it going, everybody?
Welcome, Logan. Good to have you here today with us again.
Yeah, so, Bruce, I know a little bit about yourself. You have been doing real estate for a very long time, or for the last 10, 15 years. Done a lot of fix and flips and things like that. So today, in today's episode, we're actually going to be going over comparables. So when you go to buy a house, you want to figure out what the other houses in the area sold like in order to kind of get your price down. So I'm actually going to be interviewing you about that because, I know you have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to basically fix and flipping, especially here in the McHenry County area.
Yeah, northwest suburbs, absolutely. And I know you've been just in the game for a little over a year now, and you and your dad are killing it out there with what you're doing with multifamilies. But today's conversation is going to be focused more on single-family residential properties, which is kind of the bread and butter stuff that most new investors get involved with. So great. I'm looking forward to being able to share some of the nuggets with you guys. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we're actually recording the video piece of this too, right?
Right, yeah. So those of you guys who are listening, go ahead and check us out on YouTube, Epic Real Estate Revolution Podcast. It's the first one that comes up. And you can actually follow along with us. We're going to go through on the computer exactly how we're doing this. And I think that would be a good help to you guys as well.
Right. So we're going to use an online platform that's called Redfin.
Yep.
One I'm very familiar with. I've been using really since 2005 when I got into the game. There are other sites out there like Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com that are, out there for you guys to use as well. I'm not a realtor, so I don't use, raw data files from the MLS like the realtors can do for you. And it's always a good idea for you to pull your own comps in addition to getting other opinions on, on the after repair value stuff. So
Right. I think we had actually someone in the group here get some comps pulled for her on a property that actually the comps were completely whack, not really for the right type of property. So figured, hey, that's a great podcast topic. Let's go through it.
Right.
So yeah, getting into the interview here, I guess let's go over the basics first. What exactly is a comparable?
So when we're talking about comparables, we're going to be looking at the exit strategy, whether we're going to be, fixing and flipping the property or holding it as a rental. We're going to want to know what it's going to appraise for when we're done with it. So we're looking for comparables of homes that are pretty homes that have been updated in the last, 5 years or less that are, current. It's what the home buyers want to buy. They want to buy something, that they can move right into and live in rather than having to go through a renovation project, which the majority of homeowners aren't looking for that in today's market.
Right, I would say the very majority.
Right. Especially the millennials and all of that. You guys
most of us aren't about that at all.
You just want to get in there and plug and play and go, right? So you don't want to tie up your nights and weekends on, repairing things. So I always start with that end in mind. I look at, what's it going to be worth on the other end of it. So even if you're wholesaling properties, you're going to want to know what the ARV is or the after repair value is for your client. And in this case here, let's say we're going to be focused on the town of Woodstock, which is kind of your sweet spot there.
Yep, I love Woodstock.
Yep, and so we're going to be looking at let's pretend that we're looking to find properties that we can put under contract and perhaps have the option of wholesaling, fix and flipping, or holding onto as rentals. So so we're going to look at that after repair value because it's very important, because if you are going to hold the property on the other end of it, you're going to want to know what the bank's going to appraise it at too.
Right.
Because if you're going to have to refinance when you fix it, you have to be realistic in what the bank's going to lend on that property so you can maximize your cash return.
Yeah, so let's get into the comp pulling here. So the property we're going to look at first here is 14818 West South Street here in Woodstock. I guess just kind of walk us through what are your initial...
these are MLS listed properties, and in fact the two today are already under contract, so they're actually good ones for us to look at, so we're not tripping over each other to make offers. So this property here is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. It's 1,546 square feet. It's been on the market here for almost 4 months, and The unique thing about it is the lot size. This is on almost 3 acres, so this is not a city property. This is not downtown Woodstock. It's actually out in the unincorporated area. That's not in in the town market. So there's more of a rural farmette property.
Right, and so just generally speaking, people buying in the city are buying in the city, and the people buying out in unincorporated, they're not really looking at the city comps, and
Right.
They don't really work together very well.
Right. So the whole idea here is get to know the property real quick, and through Redfin, and I'm sure through Zillow and the other portals, you can actually look and do a virtual walkthrough on it. So look at pictures on it. Visual. You want to see what kind of shape the property is in right now. It's got a 1-car garage on it. It's a simple ranch-style home, but then you start seeing the outbuildings on the property because it is a 3-acre lot. And in fact, this property has 3 or 4 outbuildings on it, and fenced-in areas for probably horses. Looks like the outside of the home's in pretty good repair. Here's an area where behind the barns where they probably had livestock when they were living in the house. And so it's a unique property because it's going to be for a unique type of buyer. Looking at the inside pictures here now, we start seeing the datedness of the property here. We got a lot of pine wood paneling, wood floors, wood ceilings. It's not a very bright and cheery environment, but it certainly feels more like a farm type of a property,
Old farmhouse.
Old farmhouse, right? So pictures can tell you a lot of things about a property, and this probably somebody had been living there for several years, and that was a good fit for them. But to look at this property, you're going to look at updating the kitchen and bathrooms. Probably trying to neutralize a lot of that wood in there, whether you're going to paint it or if you're going to cover it with drywall or whatever that is, and make it more bright and cheery inside. There's no description on this one. It's like I say, it is contingent, but just looking at the pictures, you can tell it's going to need some work. So once again, this property is on the outskirts of town. It's not in downtown Woodstock. So if we look at the map on it, even though it has the Woodstock schools and school district, which is important, it's west of 14 there, and it's out near the conservation area. So it's a rural farming area, and it's pretty typical for that area. So when I'm pulling comparables on a property like this, I want to find other farmette properties, right? The person that had brought me this listing a little while back had actually had a realtor pull comps, and they had pulled all homes that are from in incorporated Woodstock, which are more city-sized lots. So when I saw that, I'm like, we got to take a look at this from that regard, because the lot size is going to be really important. So if you're going into Redfin, there's a tab inside of there to be able to click on pulling comparables or filtering comparables. In this case here, you can just go into Redfin and put it in the town of Woodstock, and then you're going to start entering your filters in here. So here we have the filter tab. So you want to figure out bedrooms, bathrooms. So this is a 3-bedroom. So let's see what we can find for 3-bedroom houses. 1+ bathrooms. This is a single-family home. We're looking for sold comparables. So we want to make sure that the solds are within the last 3 months. Now,
so real quick, why exactly does it need to be within the last 3 months as opposed to a year ago?
well, because you want to get the most current and most relevant sold comparables. Because if you're putting this house under contract, let's say we're buying this one by the end of the month, and it's going to take us 3 months to fix it and put it on the market. It may be these comps are pulling today, maybe 9 months or a year old by the time we get to the that exit strategy.
Okay.
So this is a 1,500 square foot house, so I'd like to go plus or minus 10%. So I'll go the square footage from 1,250 to 1,750. Let's see. Now this is where the real distinction comes up on rural properties is the lot size. So most of the city lots are going to be 8,000 square foot or less.
Mm-hmm.
In this case here, we can pull from 2 to 4 acres. So let's see here. Let's see. So I'm just going to grab between 2 and 4 acres. Now you start seeing the comparables go away. And so here we are. So we're going to apply the filters. So here becomes a challenge. We lost all of our comparables now. And why is that? Because you don't have nearly the volume of traffic going on the rural properties in that criteria than you do on the in-town properties. So what I will do next is go in and actually change the last 3 months to perhaps a longer period back. And let's go back 6 months and see what comes up. So now we're starting to see something here. This one sold for $250,000 back in April. And we are in actually August 1st
Or
today.
it is
so,
August,
right?
yeah.
Well, it's hard to believe the time flies so quick. I'm going to actually go back a year just to find comparables that truly are farmette type properties, just as a reference point. So now we actually have 3 properties that have come up. And not to say this is going to be the final, the final valuation of the property, but it at least gives you an idea of what those homes sold for at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's apply this. So now we can go ahead and open up tabs here. So this is the first one that came up that sold in April. I'm going to right-click on it and open in a new tab. Let's take a look at the house. Is this a home? That's a pretty home. This is on I have to see what the lot size is, but it should be between 2 and 3 acres. So let's look at pictures. Ranch-style home, great comparable. Inside of the house, looks like the folks are still living there.
Definitely a lot brighter in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a new home, but it's a home that is more cheery. Kitchen looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got nice floors in there. It's been updated, fairly recent. So this is, got the tile backsplash and everything. So that's a good comparable.
Yeah, it looks like the appliances are pretty new.
Right.
It's a cool little hutch there.
Yeah, updated bathroom. Carpet in the bedrooms. Looks like it's been painted. It's not a neglected property. So I would say that this is probably a good comparable. This does have a full basement, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they have, in addition to what the house is that we're, the property we're looking to compare to. So, yeah, it looks like a pretty house. It has a back porch on it. Let's see what it has. Well, it doesn't have nearly the garden area that the other home had.
Right.
It has an in-ground pool. Hello.
That's pretty cool there.
A little estate type property and a hot tub as well.
So for the pool, obviously that's a pretty major feature for the house.
Mm-hmm.
How does that affect? Can you even compare a house with a pool to a house without a pool?
Pools are kind of one of those things that they can be a plus or a minus, and usually they're more of a minus than they are a plus.
Okay.
It's a certain type of buyer that wants to buy a property that has a pool on it. This has an in-ground pool, which has more value to it than, say, an above-ground pool, which normally we would take those out. It's a freestanding pool, so it probably does add some value to the house. Again, it has a basement as well. So this one, you probably got an extra $10,000 for each of those amenities.
Okay.
With the basement and the pool. Certainly, the description on the house tells you a lot too. Be prepared to be wowed by this brand new 3-bedroom, 2.1 bath ranch. That's on 2.5 acres. Overlooking open land. A lot of updates on the home. I'm not going to go too far into it, but. Go 4-wheeling or dirt biking, and then go swimming or relax in a hot tub with your favorite drink. So,
Wow.
So it's a pretty attractive property.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
if you have a young family that you want to raise out in the country.
Right.
So I would say this is a good comparable. It sold for $250,000. So if you take off the $28,000 extra for the full basement and the pool, you're probably at $230,000 for this being used as a comparable for the subject property.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good comp there. Let's look at this next one. This sold a year ago in September, so we're going to be looking at something that will certainly be beyond a year after we're done with this project. But this one sold for $225,000. Let's just take a quick look at the pictures. Looks like it's a home that has its own homeowner's taste to it.
Mm-hmm.
With kind of the yellowish walls and that. Has a nice kitchen. That's been updated with stainless appliances. Looks like some nice landscaping.
Another bit of waterworks here.
Yeah, it looks like it might have a little koi pond there. So, when you're out in the rural areas, you can do all kinds of things that are exclusive to that kind of a property.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of jumping through pictures here, but a nice yard. I don't see any farm buildings in there or any pony barns or anything like that, but certainly an area if somebody likes to garden. So that's what that house looks like. So it's a nice home, and it sold for $225. So that's getting us right in that range of that $230,000 valuation that we're considering on our property after it gets fixed. And let's look at a final one here. This one's on Seminary in Woodstock. Well, once again, open another new tab for that one. So let's see. This one sold in September of last year. I don't see any description, but let's look at the pictures here. Another ranch-style home. And let's see, definitely got some property around it. Now this one doesn't look very updated, does it?
Yeah, it looks a little old. Looks like we're actually missing a bit of the countertop there.
Imagine that.
Yeah, the breakfast bar is hard to eat at.
Yeah, so, this is probably one that's going to need, an update done to it. It's got some wood paneling going on. It doesn't have all the wood walls and ceilings like the other one did, but certainly things that I would probably want to address if I'm going to fix it up for fix and flip.
Right.
As a rental property, this would probably be just fine. So it's, no matter what your exit strategy is. So bathroom is okay. It's not great. So this is an okay home, but it's not a pretty home. It's got a, that's a sunroom that they have there. Back room. So it looks like it's, it's been well loved for a long time. Mm-hmm. Let's see what kind of I didn't see anything on lot size here, but let's see what that looks like. Go down. Okay, so this is on 2 acres.
Okay.
So it's still a rural property, and I'm sure it's going to be, well and septic again. Oh, it is public water and sewer, so this is closer to town.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a bigger lot inside of town. So I would be comfortable using that, $230,000 ARV on the subject property. So, and that's this one here. So they're listed at 198. Kind of a quick rule of thumb, I'd probably take 30% off the top of that $230,000 valuation and start that as my, number that I have to start deducting repairs off of.
Right, and so why? Well, I guess let's just say it's pretty important to be conservative. You don't want to jump a little bit too far and not exactly land where you're trying to be.
Right.
So yeah, okay.
So if we're at $230,000 ARV and we go 70% of that, we are looking at a kind of a starting number of about 161 as our number before we start deducting repairs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say hypothetically we had to put $60,000 into this house with a new kitchen, bathroom, do some other updates to it to really brighten it up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really going to be around $100,000 as our maximum offer price.
Right.
So, right now it's contingent, so who knows? It may come back on market again. It may fall through. It may close. Who knows? And I'll be curious to see how that
definitely.
works out.
Especially because let's just say they are thinking about buying it at $198,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're pretty far off of that in our analysis from just an investor's point of view.
So the numbers have to make sense. The numbers are the numbers. You can't fall in love with a property you want to make money on. It's a property that you have to. I could make an offer on this property probably right now, going through a simple software solution I use that without even looking at the property, I can tender an armchair offer, so to speak, and prepare an offer and send it through my realtor for $100,000 and with a proof of funds and see what happens. So that first level of making an offer on a property without even seeing it is something that I do quite a bit of, because you can go out and go crazy trying to figure out the exact valuation of the property, and you can waste a lot of time going through that process. And I've had investors, and myself included, just getting started. It would take me weeks, if not months, to make an offer.
Right. It's that analysis paralysis we were talking about.
Exactly. So if you can learn how to know your market, be able to analyze properties quickly, and have a number in your head, even if you're going to go out and look at it. So I know that this property, I'd have to get it really at 160, and I'm going to walk through and see what kind of repairs need to be done next. So, but if you make that offer, let's say $100,000, and they come back and they counter at 188, I probably wouldn't waste my time going to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they came back at, let's say, 145, I would probably say, okay, it seemed like they're motivated.
Right.
You know,
See if we can work this down a little bit.
right. So let's just put it the other way. Now, if I made an offer for $100,000 and they accepted it, I'm definitely going to go look at it.
Right.
And at that point here, I'm going to probably put the property under contract and maybe even put up a little bit of earnest money. But I still have a week or better to go through and really analyze my numbers, and I can still get out of that property without having to jeopardize any money.
Right. Get some second opinions in there.
Right.
Have your crew come in. Maybe get their opinion because they're the ones who are going to do the work.
And I probably would bring a realtor and they give me their opinion on what the ARV is. Right. So. So that's one example on a farmette type property, and I'm going to kind of clean up the screen here. So we have another property here that's actually in town in Woodstock.
Yeah, try to go through on one on the city. Maybe there's more people looking for that type of a home.
So this is actually a property that was a short sale. It's been on the market over 300 days. Right now it's contingent. Similar kind of a property, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, less square footage. Well, let's look at the pictures. Wow. All the pictures are the same.
Yeah, wow.
So they're not tipping their hand on what the condition of this property is outside of they know it's probably not very pretty inside.
Right.
Look at the description here. Short sale opportunity. Where do I begin? You'll be asking yourself the same question as, for the most part, this home needs a complete once-over.
Okay, at least the description
Inside
is
and
honest.
out. The good news is the home has a full basement, a master bath, a stone fireplace, screen porch, and a 2-car garage located on a quiet interior street on a mature home site. To be conveyed as is, where is.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
So you're pretty much buying the home. You're getting the home as is. You're not going to be able to negotiate, for the seller to do any repairs. You're buying it. The way you buy it is the way you're getting it.
Right.
There's really not going to be any wiggle room on the seller's side.
Right, and that time on market of 307 days kind of tells me that maybe they're not super flexible on their price either, or someone might have come along and kind of jumped on it.
So this is a short sale, meaning that the homeowner owes more than it's worth.
Okay.
So let's say they owe $200,000 on this house. It may only be worth, after repair value, of $150,000. And let's say it needs $100,000. Well, let's back it down. Say it needs $50,000 worth of work done to it to make it worth $200,000. We would have to buy this home at a pretty big discount off of off of that ARV, especially sight unseen. At this point, you can't go in and see it, nor would we want to be really want to see it until it comes back on market again. But let's just make some assumptions, and let's do our comps on this property. So just to verify, it is in the city, more of a city kind of a property. So let's look at the map here. I believe this is Route 47 and 120, so it's right up by the courthouse.
Yeah, kind of on the north side of Woodstock there.
So that's the area we want to focus on and try and pull our comps here. So we're going to reset our filters inside of the Redfin. And let's reset. So let's look for 3-bedroom homes. This, I believe, is a 2-bath, so let's just go with a 1.25 plus, single family. We want to find homes that have sold. Square footage, this was a little over 1,000 square feet, so I'm going to go 750 to 1,250 as far as square footage. Lot size is not going to be as important here, but let's just see if they have a lot size on here. Yeah, it's a 9,000 square foot lot. Okay, so it's a pretty good sized lot. So we'll go 8,000 to a half acre, which is about 20,000 square feet. And let's apply the filter. Let's see what we have. So what has sold? So here we are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential comparables. So first thing I want to look at are ranch style homes, and that looks like what a majority of these are. So this one that just sold in a few weeks ago here. Let's take a look at this one on Portage. can tell you right away. It looks like it's, well, it only has one picture though. Here's your chance to own a highly desirable tri-level in a fantastic location. So it's on a ranch style. The home has a featured large screen deck and private yard, 3 bedrooms, 2 fireplaces. Nothing. There's a large eating kitchen, a formal dining room as well. It's nothing to do but move right in. Why don't they have more pictures of it?
Yeah, that's too bad.
So here's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,232 square feet. So it could be a comp if we didn't have anything else to pull from, but since it's a tri-level, I'm going to look at other comparables.
Again, they are advertising that one as having a fireplace, as the one in question does as well.
Right. So here's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, sold in July, so just a few weeks ago. Let's see, they have pictures on this one, so let's see what we have. So it looks like updated kitchen. You got your, well, if that's, it looks like Formica countertops with stainless appliances. And usually you can tell that by the rolled front edge, and then you see the backsplash with the Formica.
Right.
I don't know if those are wood floors or vinyl floors with a wood look. Updated bathroom.
Got the corner shower.
Yep. So looks like it does have a basement. Detached 2-car garage. It says it's move-in ready. Rehab tastefully. New cabinets, flooring, bathrooms, huge master bath, doors, so on and so forth. Can close quickly. So one of the things I like to look at, though, if it looks like it's been a flip property, so I'm going to check out property history real quick. And it doesn't look like it had been sold anytime recently. So it wasn't something that somebody got at a great discount and fixed it up and resold it. At least in this record. Now, that's a reference point. I'm not saying it's always 100% accurate, but I would say this is a good comparable. Sold for $181,900. Redfin estimated at, almost the identical number was their estimate on it. So I'm going to keep that one as a comp. I'm going to pull this portage out of here. Here we go with another one on Tappan. This is a ranch style home. Sold for $165,000, 925 square feet. Let's look at pictures. And that just sold in June, so that's about a month and a half ago. Patio out back. This has hardwood floors in it, fireplace. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, kitchen's okay on it. I mean, it's been updated within the last 10 years anyway. It's not the latest and greatest, but it's still clean and functional. At that price point there, they're probably fine. Got brick in there, tile floors, hardwood floors throughout. Let's see if this one has a basement or not. Probably does. I think we already saw all these, didn't we? Oh, maybe not. Let's get some brick walkway. 2-car detached garage. Okay.
Okay.
So I didn't say anything about a basement. Let's look at the description here. 3-bedroom ranch with a big fenced yard. New front deck, new water heater and dishwasher as well. Almost freshly painted inside. Hardwood floors and a fireplace. Full basement, has another bathroom. Brand new roof in 2019. So it's had some updates to it. It's been lived in by a homeowner, it looks like, for a bit of time. So it's an okay comp. $165,000 it sold for. For less than 1,000 square foot house, it's a pretty good square footage per square foot price on that. And let's see. So that one. Let's look at Northampton, Woodstock. Sold in June, so a lot of homes selling in this price point, the square footage in that area. So let's see. This looks like
Okay, fairly updated kitchen.
Yeah.
It looks like the appliances look pretty good. Double oven.
And you'll notice, I mean, in this price point in this market here, stainless is pretty common, but Formica countertops is acceptable. This is a stainless kitchen sink, which is acceptable. You're not dealing with granite and recessed sinks and all those kind of things, so it's fine. Almost looks like they painted the cabinets, put new hardware on them.
Yeah, possibly.
So people are buying it. Looks like it has laminate floors in here. It's more of a modern look in there. Not neutral colors by any means. So this probably was owned and owner occupied. So they like their fireplace in Woodstock. I must say.
Really, everyone does.
Yep.
Actually, I guess the multifamily property that I have, the main floor has 4 fireplaces in
gosh.
it. So
Yep. So you see the baseboard heat in here. We have to find out if that's electric or if that's actually hot water. Probably hot water if it's an older house built in 1959. So most likely hot water heat.
what would be the, I guess first of all, which is better, hot water or electric, and then why is that important?
Well, hot water heat's going to last longer. It's going to be more efficient than electric baseboard heat.
Okay.
But the other challenge with that is there's normally not a forced air cooling system in there or air conditioning.
Okay.
So you may see, a portable or window air conditioning units inside of here versus a central air.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some homes have been updated with, a central air system as well. They may put that into the attic, and have that for cooling. This looks like a basement bedroom because of the window. That's not an egress window, so that's not really a legitimate basement bedroom. So normally an egress window has to come about halfway down the wall where they can, get out in case of a fire.
Right.
So I don't know if that's part of their 3-bedroom bedroom count inside of there. This is interesting.
Mm-hmm. That tile is. I'd like to hear the story behind it.
Yeah, that's interesting. But you also see where if this is the basement bathroom, you see it kind of step up.
Right
the
in
area
front
where
of
the
the
plumbing
sink.
is. So they actually had to build up a platform to put the plumbing in the floor underneath it. So not all bad things. It's it's an okay property. Looks like a nice deck out back. If you like red decks.
Yep. Some people really like them, I guess,
Yep.
because people are painting them.
Well, it looks fresh. It looks fresh anyway. So that's an okay comp. It's not a super pretty property, but for that area, it's probably fine. So I would say that 160 sold price is probably a good price point. This one sold for 181.9. Had a 2-car detached garage. Did this one have a garage? Or was it an attached garage? I don't know if it shows that. Let's look at the property details here. 3 bedrooms, so that bedroom thing, they got 2 bedrooms up and 1 below grade. And that bedroom in the lower grade should not even be considered as a bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Legally, anyway. Partially finished basement. So really, probably was appraised as a 2-bedroom house. Gas heating radiators, so that's probably gas hot water heat. 1 window wall air conditioning unit, so
Okay, so it is an AC.
it doesn't have a central air unit in it. So it does have a garage, 2 garage spaces, so, and that's attached garage. Though I didn't see that on the front of the house. Okay, city sewer and water, all that. So okay, cool. So I would say that that one's, if I had a 3-bedroom house, so let's go back to our subject property in Madison. Not knowing what the inside of this house looks like, I probably would figure my ARV at the 170, 180 range
Okay.
as kind of a starting point, and then knowing that when I go to the property, I'm going to be working my numbers backwards from there.
Right.
So once again, I'd probably take a 30% discount off that 180 number.
Right. So now you're looking at.
About 130-ish, I would guess, in round math, and then I'm going to walk through the house. So let me figure that out. 180 and 70%. So we're looking at 126 as our
Okay.
starting number.
It's pretty good fast math there.
Yeah. So when I walk through the house, and I got 50 grand and worth of repairs of doing it, my offer's down to $76,000.
Right.
And if I'm looking to wholesale a property, I'm probably going to take another 5 grand off of that. So I'd probably make an offer around 67 or 68,000 on the
Okay.
property. So just one quick note, this is a short sale. So if I were to make that $70,000 offer on this property and the homeowner accepted it,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that the bank is going to accept it.
Right. That's true.
So you have to go through the process of short sales, which there's nothing short as far as the timeline in short sales.
Yeah.
Homeowner may accept the contract, the offer, and then the home goes contingent like this one is. and now we have to go, prove our numbers to the bank.
Right.
So that's a whole other conversation, which we'll get into on another podcast here.
Right, down the road.
Yes. So hopefully that helped.
Yeah, I definitely just learned a ton.
Yeah. So, you guys, try Redfin out, try Zillow out, but find those comparables. Find it, 3 or 4 comparables that you can use on pretty homes that you can start as your after repair value number.
Right, and it seems like, going back to the analysis paralysis problem, spending about 10 to 15 minutes on each property, kind of pulling your comps, looking at all those comps, and then also looking at the subject property.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like that's about a good amount of time, and you could get through, quite a few properties in a day if you're doing it.
Yeah, and and you can get set up inside of Redfin to get notifications of new properties, new listings based on your criteria. In my marketplace, which is right on the Crystal Lake area, I probably get anywhere from 20 to 40 properties a day emailed to me through Redfin.
Oh, wow.
And I can click on those and look through those, and 40 listings probably in less than 5 minutes, and see if there's anything out there that's even in my wheelhouse.
Okay. How long did it take you to get to that point of
just
really knowing it that
It's
well?
just really knowing what homes are selling for per square foot.
Okay.
So if I see a home like this one here at, is this 1,000 square feet? 1,000 square foot home that's listed for $97,900. It might catch my attention because knowing the Woodstock market a little bit, homes are selling for $150 to $200 a square foot on the smaller homes.
Okay.
And when you get into larger homes and all, you start seeing that price per square foot go down pretty quickly. But so this one probably would have caught my attention if I had this, in my search filter. I don't normally shop in Woodstock. But the whole idea is to know that market.
Right.
Get set up in your towns that you want to focus on. Even get focused on specific neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And so you really get used to the process. So when you see that 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch come up in a certain neighborhood that's a development, that that home usually sells for $180,000 when it's fixed.
Mm-hmm. And then you see it maybe listed for $120 or something.
Right.
And then you're right there and you're ready to go because
Exactly.
you've been doing your due diligence before you even had to.
Exactly. So it is a tough market, very competitive, and it's going to, the advantages are going to go to the ones that can act quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And if a home's been sitting out there for 307 days, going under contract and going back on market, back and forth, there's probably some major flaw in the property. It could have a cracked foundation. It could have, a host of things that are wrong with the property that, people, as they start doing another level of due diligence on the property, maybe they send a home inspector there.
Right.
And they find that there's a fatal flaw with the property.
Right, and again, you have the bank involved here who may or may not, they're kind of really the final say in the offer price.
Right.
So say it does have that major problem with it, well, how do you really get around the bank with that? And I guess sometimes you have to just let it go.
Mm-hmm. So these are the kind of conversations we get into pretty much every week at our study groups, and
Yes,
even
we
on
do.
our cash flow nights, and when we go to property tours, we host those as well. We go through the numbers, what your criteria should be, and then in another podcast, we're going to deep dive into what rehab costs.
Rehab costs, possibly next week we'll tackle that, and that's going to be really interesting.
Absolutely. So good. Well, I hope you guys learned a few things here, some nuggets. It's a market that's very competitive, and the best deals are the ones that you can find that are not on the MLS.
Right. You find them before anyone even sees it.
Right. So go out and drive your neighborhoods. Look for the tall grass. Look for stickers on windows and that. Do skip trace searches. You can go to the estate sales, the garage sales, those kind of things, and find out people why they're selling.
Mm-hmm.
What
Even
are
just
they selling?
talk to the neighbors in the area and ask them if they know of anyone around who is trying to sell a house, because you might be able to really get in early that way.
Right, exactly. So get to know your market. Redfin's a great resource. So even if you're dealing with an off-market property, you can pull your comps through Redfin.
Mm-hmm.
So you can figure out what the ARV is through this portal here, and if you're working on a property that's not on the market, not on Redfin with any current information, you have a basis line, a reference point to know what it could be worth on the other side. So, all right.
Alrighty, well, this was super informational. Thanks as always for.
You're welcome. It's fun to be able to share this stuff because it's it's a learning curve. It's a language that
Right.
you have to get used to. So very cool. So I've enjoyed doing it, guys. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you. Again, we're the Epic RIA group out here in Lake in the Hills, Illinois. We meet every Tuesday. We do property tours. We play cash flow. We have a great time. Come out and check us out.
Absolutely.
It's always fun. But yeah, thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, and go to our website, epicrea.com. That's EPICREIA.com to see our calendar of events and sign up and come on out and see what we're up to.
Yep. Hope to see you guys there.
Sounds great. Thank you all for being here, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.